Everyone is likely aware that the Titanic struck an iceberg, correct? Today, the objects salvaged from the depths are considered authentic artifacts, but this is not the first sunken ship in our history. Today, I'd like to discuss the Arabia, a paddle boat that sank more than 150 years ago, and the incredible artifacts discovered with it. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we'll be looking at how a farmer discovered something weird outside his farm fields. Yeah, you heard it right. So, let's start our video. As usual, in September 1856, the steamship Arabia left Kansas City, Missouri, and proceeded up the Missouri River to deliver 200 tons of construction materials to new cities on the state's western boundary. During the age of exploration, tens of thousands of courageous men and women established new colonies in the Wild West. Now, many traveled by foot, while others took railroads or rode horses, and a third group traveled up the river on steamships. The Arabia had only been in operation for 3 years, but had already completed several successful journeys up and down the perilous river. It was equipped with excessively sized paddle wheels, allowing it to effortlessly navigate over hazardous shallows and nibbles, but traversing Missouri was hazardous and tricky. The river continually eroded the banks, uprooted, and carried away the tree roots. One of these roots reached Arabia. While traveling west and being blinded by the sun, the captain failed to spot a partially submerged tree stump. This was directly along the route of the vessel. The stump broke into the oak's thick hull, allowing water to swiftly fill the holes. The ship sank minutes later. Fortunately, the river was shallow enough for those at the top to remain above water and reach the shore. One mule and nearly all of the ship's cargo perished with the vessel. Attempts were made to preserve some items, but the swift current made it impossible. Following the Arabia's sinking, there were allegations that the ship may have been carrying 400 barrels of whiskey as well as jewels and gems. The Kansas City Times reported in 1871 that residents were able to unearth several barrels of booze and a box of Arabian dishes. However, the ship progressively sank deeper while its cargo remained undisturbed on the riverbed. As the years passed, the Missouri River altered its course and ended up approximately 1 kilometer or 6 miles from its original journey. The Arabia sank beneath tons of silt and muck. In the 20th century, the site of the shipwreck was transformed into a field. The precise location where the Arabia sank was lost, and its existence became a legend. The ship remained concealed from the public for more than a century, yet the villagers did not forget its narrative. There were persistent rumors that the ship was carrying expensive cargo, possibly even gold, which attracted treasure hunters. Using both modern and historical maps of the shipwreck, treasure hunter David Hawley determined that the Arabia was located in Kansas, south of the southern right bank of Missouri. There was a property owned by Norman Sorters. The farmer had heard of the shipwreck and agreed to a search of his land in exchange for 15% of the revenues. Greg Hawley discovered the precise location of the Arabia in July 1987 after combing cornfields for several days. Despite the ship's size, which was approximately 52 meters or 170 feet in length, locating it was not simple. In addition, it was discovered that the Arabia was 14 meters or 46 feet deep. The groundwater was less than 6 feet below the surface, necessitating costly training services. They planned to dig during the winter when the river and water levels were at their lowest. The treasure hunters are now preparing and funding the operation. To remove the water from the hole, stone walls measuring 2,021.5 meters or 70.5 feet in circumference were necessary. Using pipelines, pumps discharged 75 cubic meters or 2,648 cubic feet per minute of water into Missouri. To remove the ship, enormous excavators and a crane were required. In the end, the hunters dug a hole the size of a football field. They discovered the bones of a long-dead mule as well as hundreds of other objects, many of which were in pristine shape. It took nearly a year of intense digging and pumping to create the ship's pit. Additionally, they discovered the tree stump that was still in the pit. Over the next several months, an uncountable amount of valuable items were uncovered. The artifacts discovered in Arabia altered historians' perspectives on the restricted lifestyles of settlers in the western United States. Arabia was stocked with numerous opulent American and European delights, similar to preserved cherries and cognac made in France, and preserved in New York-made Gothic bottles. One participant, Jerry McKay, could not resist tasting a cucumber from the 1855 harvest. It was still edible. Additionally, Arabia offered oysters, cheeses, coffee, beans, and cigarettes. The local pepper sauce was packaged in delicate bottles. In addition to preserved foods, the Arabia patented jars for preserves and porcelain plates with a variety of metal lighting. The ship included many cases containing bottles of gin, wine, cider, and cognac, but none of whiskey. The sole barrel discovered contained ale. The Arabia had several cosmetics and medications, including pills, lotions, and mixes, as well as scents that were all functional. In addition, there were approximately 2,000 porcelain and semi-porcelain items, including a few from Wedgwood. The majority of the objects discovered were, however, everyday items such as shoes, ranging from infant shoes to horse riding boots, guns, and a ton of tools and hardware. David Hawley began his entire excavating business with the intention of making money. However, he understood while excavating that the finds on the Arabia would be most valuable as a collection. So instead of selling their discoveries at auction, the hunters decided to collect them in a museum. When he learned that the farmer's daughter consented to this idea, she took roughly 25 items for his grandchildren. Hawley acquired a big, temperature-controlled warehouse, moved the collection there, and began meticulously conserving and cataloging it over the course of many years. He restores approximately 80 pairs of shoes per year. In 2005, Hawley had only prepared 955 objects for presentation. By the summer of 2006, around 70% of the collection had been cataloged. And that's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section down below. I hope that you found this video interesting, and if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. See you in the following video with some more of the latest updates, and until then, stay tuned.